Look, I'm all up for weird, don't get me wrong, but like even weird has to go somewhere.
Je rêve ou vos mamelles ont encore pris du volume?
Juste l'embrasser. Avec ce truc vert qui coule de sa bouche.
Pas penser jusque-là en fait.
And today we have what admittedly may be the most creative title or unique title this year, Smoking Causes Coughing. I'm playing catch up on movies, and this is a movie that I almost forgot to review. I saw this, I think, at least a month ago. I saw this a while ago. It had its time in the spotlight. 2023 release for us, but I think it's been out since last year. Only heard of this because, once again, my local art house cinema had played the trailer a few times, and I saw the poster, and I think I saw like Patton Oswalt tweet about it, and I love Patton Oswalt. Another weird friend or two who heard about it, and we just were like, okay, we don't know what this is. It looked like a Power Rangers parody that was going to be like crude and vulgar, and probably be a very silly film. So honestly, I was down for it, and it's like super short, like less than an hour and a half. Director, I'm not going to say his name right. Didn't realize who this was till I did some post-movie research. Quentin Dupieux? I wish I knew how to say it. Dupieux. Here's the thing, I'm familiar with this director's other claim to fame. Hot take time. I really liked Rubber. I love the concept of it. And it works. Literally, Rubber is about a sentient tire named Robert, who is just a tire, comes to life, all it can do is roll around, and somehow it has telekinetic abilities that can like blow things up. It can like blow up birds, it can blow up people's brains, and then it falls in love with a gal it sees at a motel. But the trick to that film is a guy comes out at the beginning and he's like,
in the Steven Spielberg movie E.T., why is the alien brown? In the excellent Chainsaw Massacre by Tobe Hooper, why don't we ever see the characters go to the bathroom? Absolutely no reason. Worse, in The Pianist by Polanski, how come this guy has to hide and live like a bum when he plays the piano so well? Once again, the answer is no reason. I could go on for hours with more examples. The film you are about to see today is an homage to the no reason, that most powerful element of style.
But yet, somehow, acknowledging that for me works. Having the headspace of the idea of this film is here are just a bunch of concepts and things that happen, but all this is happening for no reason. And yet, there's still like cohesion. There's still a story, crazy enough to follow if you're like even a little bit creative. So now we have Smoking Causes Coughing, which, as far as I can tell, it's like a commentary. And I get what some of the commentary is, but I think a lot of it is layered and it's going to be one of those things where you break it down in a video essay later, and there's a lot to extrapolate from this. But the premise is literally this group of like, they're basically Power Rangers, but they all have like their names are, I mean, there's too many ways to approach this. They're a group where each of their code names, like superhero names, are the ingredients in a cigarette, and when they come together, they can destroy their enemies with like the toxic power and chemical of smoking. That's it. They like do like moves and punches and kicks, and I guess they also like one of them has like a laser wrist that they never use in combat. But their big thing is like, how are we gonna beat this guy? All right, menthol, nicotine, and like they just bombard the creature with smoke until it blows up. But then at the same time, like when they talk to one of the kids, the guy is like, oh, by the way, we don't smoke. Like that smoking is bad. You shouldn't do it. It causes coughing. They say it a few times in this. It's just like, hey, smoking causes coughing. But they're also like all pretty flawed individuals. They come off as trying to be altruistic to the public, but they all have their own like self-serving agenda. One is worried about him being like, you know, respected and like a presentable leader. Another one is just trying to sleep with like the guy that runs the whole operation, which is the funniest part of the film is this. Their like chief officer commander is this like rat puppet that is constantly drooling slime, and it's just so ridiculous, it's comical. And for some reason, every woman in this movie wants to sleep with this rat. Don't ask me why. But we got one woman who's just interested in sleeping with the rat, and another woman on the team who has been sleeping with the rat, who's like misleading her teammate into thinking that they have a chance, and just another one who's like just trying to like, they're not really altogether good. So I guess the lesson is like, you know, don't meet your heroes, even these people, although they're representatives of this like group that fights crime, but they don't really. And the weirdest part is, here's the thing, like, the film follows their like escapades for the first like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then they're told to go on a retreat because the latest stats come in, and it's like, oh, your synergy is not really together, we need you to go on a retreat to work on your like team synergy and all this. They get to this like I mean, it's funny because they go to like a very uncomfortable metal bunker, and they're like, oh, this is great, and they sleep in their awkward helmets on like metal beds, and just nothing really makes sense, but it's supposed to be that way. But then, like, the first night they're there, they gather around a campfire. Out of this movie, it's already a short film. Like, 2/3 of this film is them they're trying to tell spooky stories, and they're just like kind of unnerving short stories of people who are just like ignorant or suffering, or like really weird, like macabre tales. And I guess there's comedy to be had from them, and they all like kind of like darkly funny and have messages about like tuning out the outside world and what does it mean to exist. There's other messages I'm sure to be had that are a little bit more difficult to fish out, but it's just weird how the film that's supposed to be centered around this like group of like Power Rangers, then like 2/3 of it is just not them, and it's just these other disconnected stories that I guess also serve a purpose but are just also just disconnected. It kind of has Rubber vibes, but without the announcement at the beginning that says this film doesn't have any reason or rhyme or anything. So I mean, if that's the style that he's going for again as a director, then cool, I'd be on board. But otherwise, like, I don't have that frame of reference for your film. All right, admittedly, I'm getting sidetracked right now. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Pros for this film, I enjoy absurdist comedy, and there's some solid moments of absurdism in here that like play off comedically well. It loses steam in the third act for me because the narrative just kind of like takes things happen, and then it just kind of ends. And I get the joke of it, but absurdism is fine and comedy is fine. It worked really well when I reviewed Tampopo. I feel like this film just meanders about, just kind of like the Rangers that go to this little excursion out in the middle of the woods. They just get there and then just kind of like stand around, walk around, and then there's like a threat coming in, and they're like, what are we gonna do? And then it's like, oh, we'll use the robot's protocol or whatever, and then nothing happens, and that's fine. I mean, it's very Rubber-esque, but just feels like there's no point. Here's my guess. At the end of the day, I didn't vibe with this film. It has some pros to it that entertained me and that I can give it credit for. I wasn't picking up what they were putting down, and I'm sure there is an overarching message. I'm sure there's more like commentary, perhaps like political commentary, perhaps something that's more nuanced from a French perspective, something that was, maybe there's like specific themes that are being supposed to be picked up. For the most part, the obvious comedy that was there and the absurdist stuff, the fish on the grill that like woke up to tell his own story, that was hilarious, that was funny. And like some of the stories were humorous and dark, and then some of what happened in the movie was also absurd and funny to me. So I mean, again, it has its pros. Whatever the main point of this film was, whatever the messaging in this film was, I kind of got it, but if whatever it was went over my head. I missed the point. I lost the plot, as Chef Ramsay would say. So for me, I didn't really enjoy this. Like, there are some aspects to be enjoyed of the film that I've already touched on, but overall, I mean, I was kind of expecting something else, and I didn't get that. And for me personally, I didn't enjoy it. I would give Smoking Causes Coughing, like, I'd give it a high 2 out of 5. Like, a high 2 out of 5. I have no reason to watch it again. And it's weird because, like, I wanted to like this movie, and I don't think it was bad. It didn't work for me. I like absurdist comedy. When I could read what they were trying to say, I could pick it up, and I kind of liked the like when the first act starts, I like the direction it was starting to go in, but then it just kind of gets off the rails with the whole campfire stories and then meanders around to just a weird, awkward conclusion. The film didn't work for me personally, so I couldn't recommend it. Maybe you'll like it more, who knows, but I mean, it's not in theaters anywhere anymore, and I guess you could stream it, but I mean, I would say that there's better movies to watch. Don't waste your time. I would even say, yeah, like the same director, like I said, made Rubber. Go watch Rubber. Rubber already, like, people either love it or they hate that movie. One of my close friends, he hates it. I think my mom didn't like it either. Hot take, I loved Rubber. I really enjoyed Rubber. So that's my recommendation for you. Skip Smoking Causes Coughing. Go back to the earlier work of the same directors. Watch Rubber. There's more to get there. There's more to pick up. I think it works better. You'll have a better time. That's all I gotta say about Smoking Causes Coughing. And yeah, that's definitely not going to be anywhere on any of my lists for this year, unfortunately. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever I review. And goodbye, travelers.